Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'd like to do is kind of go over some things that you're going to need to know to be able to solve one variable inequalities. Basically, when solving one variable inequalities, they're just like solving equations. So one of the main important skills that you're going to need to provide to this course is knowing how to solve linear equations, meaning one-step equations, two-step equations, multi-step equations with the variable on the same side, and multi-step equations with the variable on both sides. Following these processes is going to help you out with inequalities because it's really the same thing. The only thing different is we have our inequality symbol. So you need to kind of understand what the inequality symbol is and how they differ. So we pretty much have the less than or equal to, the less than, the greater than, or the greater than or equal to symbol. And you're going to want to understand how those how we kind of use those symbols and so forth. For instance, like 6 is greater than 4, right? The next thing is a lot of times when we're graphing, when we're solving the inequalities, we're not just going to have one solution like an equation. When we solved an equation, we had x equals 4, x equals negative 2. But when we're solving an inequality, we're going to have something like this. X is less than or equal to 3. So when x represents a variable, it could be 0, negative 5, 1. There's multiple different solutions. So we're going to be graphing the solution. Rather than just writing the solution, we're also going to practice graphing the solution so we can show all of the solutions. So it's very important to understand and remember a number line. So remember, like a number line is just kind of like having the x-axis here, where you have 0 positive numbers to the right and negative numbers to the left. All right, and then we'll learn how to graph and plot the points and so forth. The last thing is to evaluate, and that's going to be helpful when we're graphing, to be able to determine where exactly are we going to be shading, and also to test our points to determine are we going to have a closed or an open dot. So when I mean evaluating, for instance, let's say at this point, that means this point is negative 2. Well, if I want to test the point to evaluate, what I'm doing is I'm going to plug negative 2 in for x. So is negative 2 less than or equal to 3? So you plug in the point you want to test in for that value. Just kind of like evaluating if I said x equals 3 and I give you an equation 2x minus 7, well then you plug the 3 in for the x. And therefore you get negative 1. Well, now this we're not saying here, I'm kind of saying, what if x is equal to negative 2? Well, when I put negative 2 in for that inequality, ends up being true, and that's where we're going to be into graphing. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Just kind of want to go over some of the basic things that you're going to need to know when solving and graphing one variable inequalities. Thanks.